Our story begins with a hard worker named Noor who does some jobs around town. Noor is well respected by everyone for his hard work, and he makes a decent living. One day when being paid, Noor hears a girl calling for help, and he rushes into a cave to find that she's being attacked by a dangerous monster. A look back to 15 years ago, a young Noor making some medicine for his sick mother. The hard-working Noor gets ready to feed the goats, so his mother reminds him not to go beyond a certain boulder. His mother is clearly very sick, so Noor plans to go to boil some more water, but his mother stops him. She apologizes for not being able to do anything for him, and she tells Noor to live the life he wants. That night Noor makes dinner, but he is terrified when he finds that his mother passed away. Noor puts his mother to rest the next day, and begins learning how to live life all on his own. Noor's life is filled with responsibility, but he has no one by his side. One night Noor finds a book, and it reminds a memory from when his father used to read to him. This story in particular was about an adventurer who slayed a dragon with his comrades. They learned magic spells from a sorcerer, and broke a curse that was cast upon a forest. The adventurers group was highly respected, as they always raised their swords and struck down evil, for the sake of weak people. Noor is still amazed by adventurers, and he remembers how his mother told him to live the life he wanted to live. One day Noor decides to leave home for the first time ever, and Noor declares that he will become an adventurer. Noor says goodbye to his deceased parents, and exits the barrier protecting his home. After days of traveling, Noor is amazed by the sight of the big royal capital. Noor enters it for the first time, and is amazed at all the people there. Noor is especially amazed by one guy who looks like an adventurer, and he eventually arrives at his destination. It is the Adventurers Guild that the guards at the front gate told him about, but the clerk tells him to leave, as it is not a place for kids. The clerk tells Noor to go back to his parents, but Noor says that they both passed away. The clerk warms up to him a bit, and explains that those wanting to register at the Royal Capital's Adventurers Guild must first take lessons at the Royal Training Schools. He suggests that if Noor really wants to become an adventurer, then he must acquire some skills first. Noor hears that this means stuff like magic and the sword techniques, so Noor gets excited to go to the schools. Heroes in storybooks are strong enough to defeat dragons as big as mountains with just one strike, so Noor is eager to learn how to become a hero. Noor attends the School of Swordsmans, but he can only watch as his classmates begin unlocking their magical powers. Noor's instructor eventually grows tired of waiting for Noor to unlock his powers, and tells him that continuing to try would only be a waste of his time. The only thing Noor has learned to do is parrying to evade an attack. The instructor thinks that Noor should choose a different path, and he suggests that he try a different training school. Noor does and arrives at a school for warriors. Warriors risk their lives as shields for their comrades, so Noor finds some optimism, because that is pretty close to being an adventurer. Warrior training is incredibly hard, but even after a few months of training, Noor's physical abilities only improve slightly. The instructor warns that Noor will lose his life if he continues to push himself, so Noor is told to try hunter training instead. Unfortunately, Noor is told that he is terrible with delicate weaponry, so Noor tried thief training instead. Noor isn't suited for that either though, so Noor tries magic training. Noor is only able to create the tiny flames, even after months of training, and Oken is shocked because it is rare to see people as incapable of using magic as Noor is. Noor's last attempt is to become a cleric, but he can barely manage to heal scratches after months. The clerk is shocked to hear that Noor couldn't learn a single useful skill after spending 3 months training at each school, and he unfortunately tells Noor that he cannot register as an adventurer. The discouraged Noor realizes that he has no talent and returns home. Noor is more sure than ever that he has no talent. However, this does not stop Noor, and Noor declares that he just needs to train much harder. Noor makes his own sword, and remembers what his sword instructor told him. Sig said that if Noor practices one skill repeatedly, he might be able to master a new skill. Parrying was the only real skill Noor acquired from training, so Noor decided to train at morning, noon, and night for as long as he could. 1 year later, Noor has improved his parry skill so much that he can now evade 10 swords in one breath. Noor doesn't have any new skills yet, but his parry skill has improved immensely. 3 years later, Noor is now able to evade 100 swords in one breath. However, Noor still doesn't have any new skills, so Noor determines that he has no chance of ever becoming an adventurer. Noor continues training, eventually destroying his sword and seeing a light in his hand. Noor is incredibly determined and decides that he needs to train even harder. 10 years later, Noor thinks about how he has trained every day without fail, and now Nor can parry 1,000 wooden swords. Unfortunately, Nor still has not learned any new skills. Nor decides to try and become an adventurer one last time, and heads back to the capital. At the guild, the clerk sees that he only knows the weakest skills. She suggests that Nor should go to the training schools, but Nor explains that he has already tried all of them. The clerk apologized because Nor could not be allowed to register, but Nor expected this. Just then the old clerk appears, but he doesn't recognize Nor. The clerk eventually remembers him, and he is glad to hear that Nor has been training on his own. Nor explains that it hasn't gone well at all though, because he only managed to improve his parry skill a little. The old clerk explains that adventurers are ranked from E to S rank. In order to be recognized as an E rank, a person must have more than one useful skill. Nor's list of skills doesn't show anything useful, so Nor's dreams are crushed again. However, the old clerk says that there is more than one way to become an adventurer. There is something lower than E rank, and that is F rank. Nor can't believe that he might still be able to become an adventurer this way, but there are some conditions. Nor would be forbidden from taking any quest that involved hunting or venturing out of the city to gather herbs. This means that Nor will only be able to accept tasks around the city. No one bothers becoming an adventurer this way, but the clerk is shocked when Nor eagerly wants to do it. Nor registers, so the clerk gives him his F-rank adventurer license. The clerk doesn't think it is a big deal, but this is life-changing for Nor, so he thanks him. Nor enhances his strength a bit and gets right to work doing tasks around the town. Nor silences his footsteps to catch a cat and uses heel to fix some scratches he got from the cat. Nor uses his tiny flame to make dinner and do a rock trick to entertain some kids. Nor has finally achieved his dream of becoming an adventurer that helps people, and Nor fears that asking for anything more would be too much. Then we return to the present, where Nor runs into the cave and finds people being attacked by a monster. Nor has only seen monsters in books, and Nor is shocked to see how big it is. Some guards try to protect a girl, and the captain gets attacked. Nor goes to check on him, but finds that the captain is already gone. The monster ferociously attacks the other guards, and Nor can tell that they won't survive. A minute later, Nor's fear proves to be correct, as the monster eliminates all the guards. Monster turns its attention to the girl, but Nor uses a stone to attack to get its attention. Nor knows what he has to do, so he runs to get some space, and Nor realizes how fast the monster is. Then Nor turns to it and uses parry skill, which sends the monster flying. The monster attacks him again, so Nor uses his parry skill, but Nor knows that he will lose his life if he gets hit by an attack. Nor plans to wait for an opening so he can counterattack, but Nor remembers that that won't work because he doesn't have any attack skills. Nor sees that the girl still hasn't run away, and the monster seems to be attracted to her ring. The monster goes to attack her, but Nor uses his feather step skill to speed up, and he parries its attack. His sword shatters, but Nor declares that even if he can't become an adventurer hero, he wants to at least be able to protect this girl. Nor remembers how his father said that adventurers raise their swords to strike down evil for the weak, so Nor prepares himself for the monster's attack. Then Nor uses parry skill with perfect timing to stop the monster's attack, and Nor's parry slips the monster's head right off. Nor realizes that he would have been a goner if the monster was any bigger, so now Nor knows how unrealistic it would be for him to travel the world and go on adventures at his current level. The girl thanks Nor for saving her life, and she would like to know his name. Nor simply says that he is no one important, and leaves. That night Nor thinks about how one monster who wasn't even strong was such a problem for him. Nor shakes uncontrollably and once again determines that he must continue to train harder. A look back in the cave, the aftermath of Nor's battle against the monster. A knight apologizes for not being there to protect the girl Lin, but Lin says it's okay, because there is no point in having an escort for the trials for the right to the throne. It was Lin's decision in the first place, and she apologizes to the knight named Ines for making her worry. Lin's brother Rain learns about what happened, and he wonders if someone summoned the Minotaur to the city. It is a monster that resides in the abyss, the deepest layer of the dungeon, so someone had to bring it to the surface. The royal knight agrees with him, and explains that the source is thought to be a ring found on the corpse of a merchant at the scene. The mage Oaken analyzed the ring, and found that it had a very high-quality stone that would not be found on the market. The crest on the stone indicates that the ring originates from the magic empire of Deridas. This isn't the first time they have been antagonized by Deridas. This time a monster was summoned, and Princess Len was bound by a barrier, so they realized that they must be careful. Deridas not only wanted to eliminate Lin, but they were also after the kingdom's most valuable resource, the relics of the Dungeon of the Lost. Rain decides to change topics to the mysterious man who saved Lin. A report says that the guy used a single broadsword, and he defeated the Minotaur in just a matter of seconds. The knights followed him after, but the report says that he disappeared before their eyes, like an illusion. It all sounds pretty unbelievable, so Rain wonders just who this guy is. Back at the guild, the old clerk is shocked to see that Noor is still alive because he heard that a monster appeared near the entrance of the dungeon. It was a monster like they had never seen before, and they couldn't find Noor afterwards. Noor thinks about how he was busy getting away from a strange group of people following him, but Noor just tells the cleric that he was tired and went home. The clerk explains that Noor is really lucky that he didn't bump into the monster. The clerk used to be in A rank, but even he would have lost his life if he encountered the monster. Noor assumes that the clerk is talking about a different monster than the one he fought, because it was actually just a big cow, not a monster. The clerk explains that a mysterious man defeated the monster with one blow, and the clueless Noor is amazed that there are outstanding people like that out in the world. The clerk pays Noor for his work, but wonders why Noor isn't more interested in taking a proper job. Noor has no clue what he is talking about, so the clerk once again has to explain to him that there is a way Noor can earn 30% more without the clerk taking a cut. Just then they're interrupted as Lin appears, and the clerk is shocked to see her. Lin is glad to have found Noor using her long-distance detection skill, and Lin apologizes for doing so, but explains that she just had to meet him. Noor assumes that she has thief skills, but Lin explains that her focus is magic, and she also has knowledge of all 6 skill systems. Everyone is staring at them, so she would like to speak outside. The clerk is uneasy though, and wonders what kind of trouble Noor got himself into. Lin explains that talking outside would be better because there are less people there, and no one will be able to hear them when she uses her soundproofing and concealment spell. Noor wonders if it is a good idea to go with her, but the clerk tells them that he must. Outside, Noor overhears that everyone is searching for the mystery man, but they begin to wonder if he even really exists. Noor wonders who they are searching for, but Lin tells him not to worry because they can't be detected. Lin did all this to thank him for saving her life, and Lin explains that Noor actually saved the lives of many others in the nation. Noor points out that Lin is pretty strong herself, and Noor thinks he actually just interfered with her fight. Lin can't imagine what would have happened to her if it wasn't for Noor, so Noor decides to accept her thanks. Lin wants to compensate him with her deepest gratitude, but the humble Noor says it's not necessary. Her father even wants to thank Noor personally, but Noor also says that's going too far. Lin explains that she is a person of high status, so she must give something to the person she owes her life to. Lin gets frustrated though when Noor rejects all her offers because Noor doesn't need anything. Lin eventually begins to cry and declares that Noor is obligated to accept her gratitude, so Lin refuses to move an inch until Noor does. This makes Noor remember the determination he had when trying to train at the schools, and Noor said he wouldn't leave either. Noor agrees to her demands because simply meeting her father doesn't seem like much of a problem. Noor is surprised when Lin gets really cautious about it, and Lin explains that she doesn't want people to spot them. To keep that from happening, Lin uses concealment, detection occlusion, and multiple other skills to hide them. Noor is shocked to see how huge her house is, but Lin says it's pretty common for her kind of family. Noor finally gives her his name, and then realizes that Lin hasn't formally introduced herself yet. Her name is Linbird Clays, and she goes as Lin when she is adventuring. Noor can't believe how huge Lin's house is, so Noor assumes that Lin is some kind of noble. Lin asks Ines where her father is, and Ines explains that he is speaking with Rain. Lin explains that Noor is her special guest, and Noor is the one who risked his life to save hers. Ines is shocked to hear this, and decides to take them to Lin's father. Noor is completely lost at this point, as Noor assumes that Ines is the family maid. Although Noor thinks it would be strange, since she would have a tough time cleaning and doing laundry in her outfit. Ines is very serious, and Noor can tell that she seems suspicious of him. On their way, some guy aggressively wonders who Noor is, and Noor realizes that this house is pretty dangerous. This guy's name is Gilbert, and Ines tells them that Noor is their special guest. Gilbert realizes that this is the guy everyone is looking for, but he doesn't think that Noor looks very special. Ines tells Gilbert to accompany them, and secretly reveals that she is skeptical of Noor, so the more escorts they have the better. Gilbert becomes very serious, and agrees to go with them. Nearby, the king is upset, because Deridas is ignoring the peace treaty. They demanded that they hand over all the rights to the dungeon, and offered to lend them his military power in return. The king knew that it was a scummy deal that would ruin his nation, so he refused, but Derrida's king told him that he would regret his words. Rain explains that Derrida's is not the only threat they're facing, and the king realizes that it's finally time for something. Just then Lin arrives with everyone. Noor doesn't notice everyone else bowing down, and he just walks right up to Lin's father. Rain sees that Lin is wearing the hermit's cloak, and Rain is furious because it means that Lin went outside. Lin explains that she had to find the person who saved her life, and Lin introduces Noor to her father. Lin's father is glad that he came, and Noor explains that he isn't a noble, so he doesn't know proper etiquette in these situations. Lin's father actually prefers it this way, because it makes him easier to talk to, and he formally thanks Noor for saving his daughter. Noor accepts his words, as that is all the gratitude he needs, and Noor is relieved that it's finally all over with, so he can head straight home now. Lin's father wants to reward him properly though, and offers to give him money and land. King wants to know what Noor desires, but Noor just says that he doesn't want anything like that. Then Lin's father offers treasures from the dungeon. Their country possesses the world's oldest dungeon, and its treasures are incredibly rare. All the items found in the dungeon are stored in a treasure hall, so King offers to let Noor take half of the items stowed away in there. Rain is shocked as he points out that his father is being way too generous, but Noor once again declines. Noor doesn't need anything fancy, and their kind words are enough for him. Lin's father doesn't know what to give a man that doesn't want money, land, or treasure, but Noor just wants to get out of there. Lin's father resorts to his most extreme offer, and shows Noor the sword he keeps behind his throne. Rain wonders what his father is thinking, but the king explains that it's okay, because the sword has become nothing more than a mere decoration at this point. Giving it to Noor would be way better than just letting it sit unused, and no one will notice if he replaces it with the replica anyway. No one can believe that the king is giving Noor this sword, and Noor is shocked by how heavy it is. Noor can tell that the sword is priceless, so Noor declares that he can't accept such a gift. Lin's father explains that it is just something he picked up, and he only used it because he liked it. It's really not that big of a deal, so Noor decides to accept it. Lin's father tells him to try it out, so Noor enhances his strength, and the powerful swing Noor takes shocks everyone. Lin's father is impressed by how Noor can swing it one-handed, and he asks Noor if he can help train his daughter. Things are getting pretty dangerous, so King is worried about her, but Noor doesn't think there is anything he can teach her. On top of that, Noor thinks that parents shouldn't interfere too much with their children, and Lin should decide that for herself. Lin's father completely agrees with him, and Noor thinks about how this guy likes to laugh a lot. Noor decides that it's time for him to go, so Lin's father thanks him once again. As Noor leaves, he can't help but think that he was given something very valuable. Just then Noor realizes that this sword is the same weight as a drain he is always cleaning for some old lady, and Noor wonders if it would make his job easier. Out of nowhere, Ines appears to speak with Noor. Noor wonders if he is in trouble, but Noor is shocked when Ines gets to knee. Ines apologizes for treating him poorly, especially since Noor saved Len's life. Noor accepts her apology, so Ines explains that it's her job to protect the Clay family, and that takes priority over everything. Noor realizes that Ines isn't a maid at all, so Ines explains that she is actually known as the Divine Shield, and she serves as vice captain of the Clay family warrior corps. At a very young age, Ines was appointed as a shield for Lin. It's her job to protect Lin, even if it costs her life. Noor saves Lin, so Ines says that it is the same as Noor saving her life. Noor doesn't think it is a big deal, but Ines vows to help him however she can from now on. Noor thinks about how everyone there is pretty excessive, but decides to just accept her sentiment. Then Ines gets very serious, and points out that while Lin may have allowed it, Noor's speech and casual behavior towards the king were unacceptable. Ines cannot allow it anymore, so she demands that Noor refrain from doing it ever again. Noor apologizes, and he formally introduces himself. For some reason Ines is shocked to hear that his name is Noor, but she says it's nothing. Just then Gilbert stops Noor from going home, and demands that Noor show him what he can do in battle. Noor is pretty exhausted, and he would rather go home, so Noor is shocked when Gilbert insists that they have a mock battle. Noor has no clue what to expect, because he hasn't had a training partner since he went to those schools 14 years ago. Gilbert explains that he is pretty famous for his fighting skills, and Gilbert instructs Noor to choose a weapon. Noor realizes that this opportunity is a rare chance for an aspiring adventurer, so Noor picks a sword, and declares that he is ready for battle. Noor doesn't think he will be much of a challenge for Gilbert, so he plans to just take the battle as a chance to train with someone more skillful than him. The troops watching feel bad for Noor, as Noor prepares to fight their captain, and they hope that Noor will enjoy the afterlife. Gilbert initiates the battle, but Noor easily dodges his attacks. Noor is amazed by how well Gilbert controls his pace, and by how polished his movements are. Noor can tell that Gilbert trained a lot to get to this point, but Noor can't understand why Gilbert is so slow. Noor doesn't seem to realize what is really going on, as Noor determines that Gilbert just doesn't think that he is worthy of seeing even a glimpse of what he can actually do. Noor stops the fight, and says that he knows that Gilbert is taking it easy on him. Then Noor tells Gilbert to not hold back so much. Gilbert didn't realize it, but figures that he must have been holding back because Noor is just a normal human. Gilbert apologizes, and goes at Noor more seriously. Noor can tell that Gilbert is much faster now, and what is even more impressive is that Gilbert is leaving himself wide open after his attacks. Noor doesn't even consider that Gilbert isn't doing it on purpose, but just assumes that Gilbert is doing it to lure him in. Gilbert gets frustrated as he can't land an attack, but Noor just thinks that Gilbert isn't taking him seriously. Gilbert decides to show him a different move that changes in mid-attack, but Noor easily avoids it as well, and Noor thinks about how it wasn't even close to hitting him. Noor tells Gilbert that he can speed up more, but Noor finally begins to wonder if Gilbert is already giving it his all. Noor thinks about all the solitary training he did, and begins to consider that he might actually have gotten stronger. Noor begins to think that he might actually be able to win, but Gilbert interrupts his thought, as he uses an incredibly powerful attack. Gilbert is shocked when the dust clears, and Noor is no longer there. Noor just tells Gilbert that he wins the mock battle, but this just horrifies Gilbert. After Noor leaves, all the troops wonder how someone could have avoided their captain's drag rave attack. They rationalize it by saying that the wind force from the training spear Gilbert was using sent Noor flying, and if Gilbert was using a battle spear, then Noor surely would have lost his head. They know that someone with Gilbert's talent is 1 in a million, but Gilbert is pretty upset. Gilbert thinks about his past, and how natural it felt the first time he held a spear. The more Gilbert trained, the more he polished his technique, and the more strength he gained. Gilbert went from village to village defeating all the strongest fighters, searching for someone that could defeat him. Gilbert had already defeated everyone in the capital, so Gilbert was hoping to find some great fighter in a village. The nation was close to starting a war, so someone recommended that he return to the capital to search for groups that were assembling their power. Gilbert did return to the capital, where he did some monster hunting. Gilbert heard that someone formidable joined the corps, so he challenged them to fights, and thoroughly destroyed them. Gilbert was just becoming more frustrated, as he wondered if there was really no one that could challenge him. Gilbert was growing tired of all the weaklings surrounding him, and he was getting really bored. One day his instructor informed Gilbert that he had received the same title as him, but Gilbert didn't care. Gilbert was still bored, so the instructor wondered what Gilbert thought of Ines. Gilbert explained that Ines was strong in a different way, but in a mock battle Gilbert assured that he would win against her. Gilbert could tell that his instructor was bored too, because he had to spend all his time training people, which hardly equaled the power of one of his pinkies. The instructor was sure that someday, someone would appear who would surpass him, and Gilbert just hoped that it would happen soon. Now Gilbert thinks about how Noor was the man who defeated a minotaur all by himself. Gilbert wanted to know what kind of person could do that, but now Gilbert realizes that Noor makes no sense. Noor was really discourteous in front of the king, and he showed no interest in the most lavish gifts. Noor didn't seem like the kind of guy who could take down a monster on his own, but their battle showed him something different. Noor telling him that he could speed up made Gilbert go at him with full force. Gilbert has always known that using his most powerful technique on someone would result in them losing their life, but it was the only way that his spear would be able to land on Noor. Gilbert had no clue what happened when Noor didn't get hit by his attack, and for the first time in a head-on battle, Gilbert was thoroughly defeated. What's even worse is that Noor surrendered, and it seemed to be because Noor didn't want to embarrass Gilbert in front of his subordinates. What's even more humiliating is how casually Noor told him that he hoped they would meet again. After Noor left, Gilbert was shocked to see huge cracks in the ground, because Gilbert didn't even notice when Noor did that. Regardless, Noor evaded his attack while he was using his full strength, so Gilbert becomes happy because things are finally getting exciting. Back with Noor, he realizes he was being foolish by thinking that he was getting stronger. Noor used strength enhancement and feather step, but Noor determined that he was only able to evade Gilbert's attack because Gilbert held back just enough so he could get away. Noor is glad that Gilbert showed him how weak he really is, so Noor is once again determined to get stronger. Noor goes back to doing his F-rank tasks, and Noor is amazed by how well his new sword can clean a drain. It even gets the most hard things at the bottom, and Noor determines that his new sword really is amazing. Noor is glad that his drain cleaning job is going well, but Noor is tense because his soil hauling job is stopped for a while. Noor has this great sword now, so he just wants to be useful to people. Noor thinks of some different ways he could use the sword, but they all have their own problems. When it comes to abilities, the best Noor can do is light up his finger a little bit. Even though Noor trained at so many schools, he could only acquire skills of the lowest level. Just then Lin appears, and Noor remembers that he is supposed to be more formal in front of royalty. Lin doesn't like it, so she tells him to stop and reveals that she has a special request for him. Then Lin declares that she would like for Noor to accept her as his disciple. Noor has no clue what that is. So Lin explains that it is someone who takes care of another person's everyday necessities, as they learn techniques and absorb knowledge from that person. It is kind of like being an apprentice, but just being around Noor would be enough for her. Noor instantly refuses, but Lin assures that she can be of use to him. Lin has achieved the highest marks ever in all 6 training schools, so Lin knows that she would make a great disciple. Noor still rejects, and explains that there is just nothing for him to teach her. Also, Lin can't help him, because he can do what he needs on his own. Lin says her family will pay him generously, but Noor rejects that too. Then Lin offers to be his assistant, but Noor doesn't need her for that either. Lin proves herself with the grand display of magic, and Lin declares that it is the highest level of magic skills that she can use. Then Lin shows off her Mist Blade attack, and instantly slices an entire tree in half. Lin explains that it is a technique from the Thief class, but that isn't all. Then Lin uses her Divine Slash, and it is incredibly powerful. Lin reveals that it is the Divine class skill of a swordsman. Lin is disappointed when Noor rejects her again, and Noor wonders if Lin hasn't mistaken him for a person who is worth learning from. Lin just proved how talented she is, so Noor almost feels pitiful compared to her. All Lin has done is prove even further that there is nothing for Noor to teach her. Lin is very determined, so Noor tries to think of how he can make her understand. He has nothing to teach her, so Noor decides to just show her. Lin demonstrated all her amazing abilities, so Noor showed her the extent of his abilities, his tiny flame. As Lin heads home afterwards, Lin thinks about stories that all the instructors of the 6 schools tell their students. The stories of the young boy with no talent. The students just took the stories as fairy tales, because the idea of such a boy really existing seems impossible. This boy attended all the training schools at the royal capital, known for the harsh training, and he completed the full term of each. That alone was unbelievable, because even the toughest warriors would give up after 3 days in the 3-month course, let alone a child. That is what Lin thought as well, until she met Noor. One day the instructor of magic showed him something interesting. Oken showed her how his tiny flame could get bigger. Instructor Oken explained that depending on the training, even the base level skill tiny flame can grow as large as his. Although it has no practical use, and for the past 200 years Oken has just used it for fun. Lin has tried growing her tiny flame herself countless times, but she could never make the flame even a tiny bit larger. It is clearly not something that can be done easily, and probably requires a devotion to studying for a really long time. This is exactly why Lin was stunned when she saw Noor's tiny flame. It was several times bigger than what the world's greatest sorcerer Oken had done. It was a tiny flame that far outclassed anything she had ever seen. Noor was ashamed of it, and explained that the other 5 class skills he knows are just like this one. Noor doesn't realize it, but all 6 of his class skills are extraordinary. Now Lin is ashamed of herself for trying to show off her skills. Noor fended off a demon attack with a basic sword, but he didn't brag about his power at all, and he just quietly went on working for other people. Noor is clearly strong in mind and body, and he never yields to anyone. Lin will soon be in a position to rule the nation alongside her brother, so she needs to be strong. That is why Lin is determined to learn how to be strong, the same way Noor is strong. That night Lin finds Noor again, and thinks about how she will follow behind Noor wherever he goes until Noor recognizes her as his disciple. This is because the strength her royal family has been looking for resides within Noor. So now what will happen to Noor? Subscribe to our channel to find out what will happen next. So friends, if you liked our recap video, then please like and share this video and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.